the best case and the worst case scenario really helps curtail panic, curtail the God forbid syndrome.
Hi babes, good to have you here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be going through 3 lessons I learned early in life that I am so grateful for, that still affects the way I make decisions today, and I think they are worth sharing. So usually our decisions and choices are affected by our past experiences, our age, our intuition, our knowledge from the books we read, or maybe from the people we meet, just information we come across, from our personal preference, and just so on and so forth. And this tends to affect the way we see life or our values and beliefs over time. And be sure of one thing today, and be sure of what you stand for today, and then because of what you learn, that can change over time. So now these 3 things I am going to talk about have not changed over time. They have remained solid, and one is actually like over 15 years, and these have helped me. They've helped me in my life, so that's why I just want to share them with you. So let's get right into the video. Thank you for stopping by. The very first lesson I learned was during my literature class in secondary school, that's high school. I was around 16 years then, and we were studying this poem, Is My Team Plowing by A.E. Houseman. This poem contains 8 stanzas, and it has 4 questions from the narrator and 4 answers from the guy responding. The narrator is a guy that is dead, so he was asking his friend how life was after he died. Remember, this is just a summary of what happened in each of the stanzas. So the first stanza, he asked, "Is my team plowing?" The friend was like, "Yes, even though you lie under the land you used to plow." So the second question he asks is, "Are the lads still playing along the shore now that I stand no more?" And the friend told him, "Yes, they play heart and soul." The third question he asked was about his girlfriend. So he asked, "Is my girl happy? And has she tired of sleeping as she lie down at eve?" And the friend responded, "She lies not to weep. Your girl is contented." In the 7th stanza, he asked his friend, "Is my friend hearty? And has he found a better bed than mine?" And his friend responded, "Yes, I lie easy. I cheer a dead man's sweetheart. Never ask me whose." So my auntie went ahead to explain the meaning of this poem, and what I took away from that class stuck with me forever, and it has affected like my decisions when I tend to act up. She said, "Nobody is indispensable. No matter how important you are to people, but no matter the role you think you play in people's life, where you think like the world is going to stop and pause when you die, like that is not the case." Obviously, the dead man didn't know that life will actually move on fine after he's gone, and from his friend's response, the friend was even the friend has taken over his girlfriend that he thought would not survive. And she made us understand that no matter how indispensable you are, you think you are to someone, that is not the case. And this affected every decision I have made henceforth. When you're in someone's life, and even if the person always make you understand how important you are, how much you're loved, do not ever get carried away. What I told them, I would never get carried away to start being toxic or irresponsible, or just being a bad person because you feel this person is so tied to me that this person can never survive without me. This just cleared that. I never ever had that thought growing up, and I never put myself in a position where I would be taking a risk that, when you feel as if I need to do this thing for this person, if I don't, that person will not survive. See, I bet you that person will survive. It was just a reminder to always stop and breathe. Like even now, no matter how important I think I am to somebody or to people, and I'm killing myself to satisfy them, if you die, if you drop dead now, no matter how important you think you are to that person or those people or to that situation, like, life is going to move on. You have to take care of yourself. You have to put yourself first. You still have to be good, of course, but never think you are so important that life will stop after you're gone. You'll be surprised at how short of a time it will take before people get over it. It's just a matter of time, and life will just move on, and it will actually get better than when you were there. So take care of yourself. That lesson has stuck with me, and it affects me up to today in my decisions. The second lesson I learned happened, I read a book when I was 20. That book was by Ben Carson, and it was Take the Risks. The title of the book was Take the Risks. In the book, he had this best worst assessment. What he preached was, when you're presented with a risk, you have the option to take the risks and not to take the risks. In each case, you have to consider what is the best case scenario if I take this risk, and what is the worst case scenario if I take this risk. You figure that out, and then he also asks, what will be the best result if I do not take this risk, and what is the worst case scenario if I do not take this risk. Oh my God, did this help me in my life. This has affected the way I make my decisions from an early age. You can imagine, from like 20 years of age. You can imagine from like 20 years of age, that age when we are prone to just taking some careless risks, or taking risks that will actually change your life and just make everything better. That book was a perfect read at that time. And so whatever I wanted to do, whatever I needed to do, I can remember because I wrote this down in my diary then, in my journal, and I really wanted to learn how to make hair, but my family wasn't in support. So I wrote it down, like, what if I want to take this risk? What if daddy catches me? And what if I take this risk, and what if I don't take the risk? So the worst case scenario is that if I take the risk, the best case scenario is that it is something I really wanted to do, like I yearned for it. And school was even on strike then. If you're in Nigeria, you won't know if you're not a Nigerian, you will not know what it means for tertiary institutions to be on strike. We were on strike then, so I was even free and bored, and I really, really, really wanted to learn how to make hair. So of course, the best case scenario is I'll be doing something I really want, I'll have a new skill, and the worst case scenario is that my dad will find out and he will be disappointed and whatever. And then if I do not learn this skill, or if I do not take this risk, what is the best case scenario? There is no best case scenario. I'm just being an obedient daughter. And then what is the worst case scenario? I would be frustrated. I will just feel as if I am missing and be miserable. And then I decided to go ahead with that risk. And I would just wait when my parents go to work. I would sneak off to the shop for my lessons, paid the lady, and she would just teach me some things for some hours. I was so eager, I was happy, I was excited to do this. Like, it made me happy, it made me feel. This is just a small example of like scenarios where I've used that. Also, when I was working, after like the first official job I had, after working for a while, I just felt like this is not for me. I am done. And so I weighed my options. If I continue to stay, should I stay or should I take the risks to quit? Now, if I take the risks to quit, what are the worst case scenario? Of course, I'll be jobless, and I might not get a new job fast. And I was actually even thinking of starting off a business. I was just tired of waking up by 7 o'clock to rush and go and work for somebody. It was annoying the hell out of me because the pay wasn't even worth it. So the worst case scenario is that I would go broke, definitely, and I'll have bills to pay, which I will not be able to meet, and all those kind of things. And then the best case scenario is that of course, I'll stop doing something that is frustrating me. I can actually create a chance for me to get something better or start up something, and it will make me happy. It will make me happy is always my best case scenario. Anything that will make me happy, I'm going after it too. And then what's the worst case scenario? If I don't take the risk, what's the best thing that will happen? Look, I have this small security, job security I have with the job, whatever, I have that. And what's the worst case scenario? I will just continue being frustrated. Of course, I was like, you know what, I resigned from that job. But my point is, in Nigeria, or just around me, we are used to this mentality of God forbid it is not my portion, God forbid it is not my portion, believing that there are specific people that God have designed for their life to be always go down low, not realizing that every single person, you're going to have highs and lows in your life. And it's always better for you to analyze your risks, analyze the worst case scenario, make up a backup plan to cushion or to ease the impact of that worst case scenario, and then take the risks. You get what I'm saying? So what I learned from that book, like, it made me never, like, situations do not make me panic. I hardly ever panic. The only time you see me panicking is when I have considered the worst case scenario of that risk, and then I find out that I have no means of no backup plan to survive if it gets to that worst case scenario. That's the only time. I'm not in the business of God forbid it will not happen to me. No, this cannot happen to me. What if it happens to you? How are you going to cope with it? What is your plan to survive? How will you cope with it when it gets to that stage? So I never ever just panic. If anything is making me panic, I would just sit down and think about what's the worst thing that can come out of this thing if I do nothing about it, or if I decide to take this risk to sort it. What is the worst thing that can happen? And when I foresee that worst thing, no matter how scary it is, then I would now put in things in place or have plans of what I am going to do to help myself if it gets to that situation, and then I go ahead and take the risk. You understand? And then the advantage of this too is that when you've considered that and you have a backup plan for, if this gets bad, this is what I will do. The fire it is going to put in you, to go after what you really want will be amazing. Like, you're sure, like, if it gets bad, this is where I will land and I will not die. Like, basically I will not die. So I'm going after it. I'm taking that risk. My whole takeaway from the book was that when I am presented with the decision to take a risk or not to take a risk, doing the best case and the worst case scenario really helps curtail panic, curtail the God forbid syndrome that will make things take you unaware every time, and just make me, and then when I am focused on getting something, I know why I am going after it, because I have foreseen the best case scenario that will happen there, and it's enough motivation for me to keep going. So that has been and still is a very important lesson that influences my decision. And then for my last lesson, I know a lot of us do not like reality TV, but this third lesson is actually from a reality TV and it's actually from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know some of us absolutely think the show is trash or whatever, but I am so thankful for this lesson I learned from them. Okay, and then it happened several years ago. It was between Bruce Jenner and his kids, Kylie and Kendall. They had a problem with their car, which they used to move around, and he offered to help them fix it. He took it to the mechanic, and the guy gave them a date when they are supposed to get it back. When it was the day to get it back, the kids asked him, and he said the car wasn't ready, and he gave them another date. He just postponed it. And when that time came again, the kids asked him, and he was being kind of weird about it, and the kids got suspicious. They got the number of the mechanic and called him up, and the mechanic was like that the car had been ready days back, that the father just decided to not pick it up, or he asked the guy to hold on to the car or something. The kids, they were furious, and they went to their dad, and when he was explaining himself to them, that was just an aha moment for me. because he had previously, like during the time when their car was bad, he offered to always take them around with their friends when they were going to the mall or when they were going out. He would try to get involved in their conversations, and they'll be like, "You, Dad, you're being weird," and stuff like that. And so when they confronted him, he made them understand that he did that because he missed them and he just wanted to spend time with them. That's why he offered to be taking them around. He was like that they used to be so close, but now the kids are grown up, they do not want to hang around him again, and so thing. Like, it just flashed. It made me recall so many times when my dad would come to me or my siblings, and then we'll just want to hurry up and do whatever it is he needed you to do, so that you be like, "Dad, is that all? Can I go? Dad, is that all? Can I go? Can I go?" You just want to run away. And then with this newer generation, we feel as if our parents, like, their gist are old gist, like they're not up to date, because what they are talking about is not things that are trending on Twitter. Like, we are just focused on like social media and being so consumed with being on our phones that we have tend to like attach less importance to being present and developing that bond with our family. I don't know, mobile phones have just affected human interaction, and that made me like realize that so many times my dad had come around and just wanted to talk or just wanted to spend time, and we were like, "Why is he being weird? We just want to be alone. I just want to go back to pressing my phone and chatting with whoever it was and just being on social media." Like, when that happened, I called my younger brother immediately. I was like, "See, do you know those times that daddy will just come to your room and be telling you gist that he has told you 200 times before? He's actually just trying to spend time with you because he misses you and he loves you." And I was like, "You know what, from today, anytime I travel home, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be present. Whenever he comes, I would listen." And then whenever I traveled home, of course, I would pay attention. Like, I had this in mind. No matter what I was doing, when he comes, I drop my phone and then I just make the effort to spend time with him. I took the time to listen to his story that he's telling 200 times. I would just listen to it again and then answer his questions that were weird. When he would ask me like, "How is your landlord where you're living? How are your neighbors? What's going on in school? What's up? How are your lecturers?" Like, all those questions that like you would just say fine. They are fine, of course. No man, not just life. No, I would go into details and he would listen and laugh at my stupid dry jokes, and just like from what you say about a lecturer, and then he would say, "Oh yes, I had a friend that used to be like this," and he would gist you. Like, those communications. I just took out time. I consciously just took out time to be there. Every time I would travel, I would make sure, because he was the one I knew I was dodging, that I just felt like I'd rather be on my phone. And then when I lost him a couple of years after this realization, now when I think back at it, I am just so grateful that I learned this lesson. I'll be like, "God, thank you. Thank you I watched that program. Thank you that I watched that program. Thank you so much that I learned this when I still had him when he was alive. Thank you for the amazing time and experiences I was able to have with him, because I stopped the useless thing that we just have so much going on and seem so busy when we're actually doing nothing." And then take people, like, a lot of us can relate to this. Our parents can just come up with the weirdest thing, but they just sincerely want to see you and spend time with you. And looking at it from their angle, it will be difficult. Like, you have your kids that are like the center of your life, everything revolved around them, and then they grow up and leave home. Of course, you will be relieved to an extent, but at the point you will miss them, and just, even if you don't want them around every time, you just want to hear what's going on with them. You want to be sure they are fine, and then they just brush it off like you're now old school. Like, what are you talking about? Because what you're saying is not the usual useless things our generations are used to hearing. They are not just talking about Big Brother, so you're not even interested in. But just my point is, I was grateful, and it has still shaped my life till today. If I have people and I am in the presence of like friends or people that I really care about and I love, this should not even have to be with people that you really care about and love. You should learn to just keep your phone away and have good conversations and experiences. When I am in that situations, I drop the damn phone, I stop whatever, I just make out time for people I love and just try to make that phone call and really listen, especially if it's older parents or people from just listen to their weird gist. All those weirdness is out of love and just missing you and being lonely. They get so lonely too, especially those that retire and stop working. Don't be just like this tip is, I think it's amazing. And if you are not doing this, if this is going to be what you take away from this video, if you do not do this and this is what you take away from this video, it will be so good. So I just decided to share these 3 lessons that have not changed. They have remained the same. I learn new things and unlearn. Like at a point in my life, I was like, every single thing every doctrine, every decision, every value and belief that I have learned over the years, because I was taught so, I am open to unlearning them. I am open to just going through those things all over again and believing in it because I am sure of what I am doing. And if I am wrong, if I am making a mistake in believing in an ideology or having a value about something, and then later down the years I change my mind, that is fine. That is fine. I am ready to learn and unlearn whatever. Like, everything can come and go. It's okay. I don't care about the mistakes I make. Today I am like a very serious meat lover. I listened to a documentary, what's the health? Yeah? What the health? And some other things like that about being a vegetarian. I was like, I am not eating meat again. It didn't last though. It didn't last because of how much I love fish and meat, and I am just dabbling like this, and that is life. I want to learn and unlearn. I am open to everything. But these three lessons I have just listed to you have remained constant over the years of me learning and unlearning. And as you can see, one of them happened when I was 16 years. It's over 15 years ago. It's over 15 years ago, and it's not going anywhere. I am so grateful I learned this. I hope you pick one of these if you do not know it already, and just make the extra effort so that you live your best life. And that's why I felt to share it, because I feel it is worth knowing. I am so grateful I learned those things. I am so grateful I came across the situations that made me learn this. Shout out to my teacher in SS2. I cannot even remember your name. Wherever you are, I send you blessings. I send you love. I send you light. If you're not alive, I send it to your children and your family. May God bless them wherever they are. If you are not subscribed, I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Please do. And this video is part of my Girl Talk Level Up series. This is just a series where I discuss things that I will discuss with my fellow girls or ladies, just to make our lives better, to live our best lives. I have life advices there. If you like this video, then you're going to like a couple more of some that I have. So far I have a video on how to not compare yourself with others, how to be happy, lies young girls grow up believing. If you're interested, check that out in my playlist. I'll link it down below, and hit the subscribe button for more. I also make compilation video for Black women. My channel is just 10, like the name of my channel is Feminine Diaries. It is the diary of a Black feminine woman, of a feminine Black woman. We are striving to be better and to be the best version of our beautiful, gorgeous self, as you can see. Bye.